And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Sipshan people. In 1951, the Aluminum Company of Canada, Alcan, chose Kitimat to build an aluminum shelter. The location was ideal because of the deep water port and access to world markets. Alcan hired city planner Clarence Stein to design a community that would attract and retain workers. On today's Open Connection, Mayor for the District of Kitimat, Phil Germuth.
Ice Demons should be chugging away this year. Yeah, of course we had the fire in our one arena, so we're moving things around to make sure we can make everything work in our Tamatik arena. But hopefully by next season for sure, we should have both arenas up and running again. So there was a fire in the one arena. I don't know if the full cause has been 100% identified. We believe it was an electrical fixture that caused a fire, and really it's a lot of smoke damage. There wasn't a whole lot of structural damage, but a lot of smoke damage in an arena. You can imagine once you get the soot in there, it covers everything. So it's going to be a lot of cleanup and stuff like that. So unfortunately, definitely for the first part of this year, we'll be running on one arena. So our leisure services coordinator has been, of course, reorganizing everything. Our manager of leisure services, reorganizing all the different, skating and hockey, and of course, teams that maybe used to have some more easier times to practice at might have to be a little bit later or earlier, given we only have the one arena to work with. And so we just got finished with the SETI process, and the SETI process is the Community Economic Development Initiative, and it's a program run by the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the Council for the Advancement of Native Development Officers, and they only pick 8 communities in Canada every year. So we were so fortunate to be a part of that program. It was really a great bonus and a huge effort in the steps to reconciliation and building our relationship with the Haisla. So you actually have to interview for that process, and you have to sell yourselves as to why the SETI program should take you. So both us and the Haisla were a part of that phone call interviewing for it, and we were very fortunate to become a part of it, and it made an excellent difference. So really what SETI does is they basically set up all the meetings for you. They run the meetings, and they facilitate the meetings between our two communities, and it's worked out so well for us. I have to go back a few years here, and when I was first elected mayor in 2014, there really was no relationship between Haisla Nation and District of Kitimat, and really what brought us together as the catalyst was LNG Canada. And how they did that was, instead of when all their joint venture partners would come to town, instead of just having a meeting with the Haisla Nation Council and District of Kitimat Council, what they did is they brought us both to those meetings. And that gave us the opportunity to get to know the people behind the titles. Chief councilor, mayor, councilors, you got to know the person instead of just the title, and you weren't in somebody's boardroom trying to force a relationship. It really gave us the opportunity to get to know each other as friends and build some trust and then move the relationship forward. So having LNG Canada as the catalyst to get us together first and get to know each other worked out so well. It wasn't planned that way, it's just how it happened. And then of course, once that friendship built, then we decided, we need to apply for this SETI program and see if we can get in. So we were able to sell ourselves on that too, in the way of not only would it be great for the SETI program to have the District of Kitimat and Haisla Nation as one of the applicants, but it also works that here's also the largest private investment in the history of this country as a part of this whole relationship. And so it would give SETI something to promote too and to be proud of. And so we're very happy it worked out that way. So we went through the 2-year SETI program, and that just ended in June of this year, where we did the friendship tree planting up at our Minette Bay park there. And so we had a great celebration there, signing a friendship agreement, and how it lays out all the fundamentals of how we're going to make this work. And so really LNG Canada started the process. Then we had SETI get us into the next stage, and now it's up to us to keep it going. And there's no doubt, I have no doubt, council and our staff, and both staff and councils want to see this going. We realize the benefits that come to both communities by working together, and it only makes sense. So fast forwarding now to what's going to happen on the 30th, we now have a pole that will be raised at the site of the new Haisla Bridge. And of course, on the Haisla Bridge, on the sidewalk going across, there's the original 6 clans of the Haisla Nation that are there, and basically that are backlit, and it really looks beautiful if you get to see it at night. So it's been a great process moving forward. Of course, it was a Haisla joint venture that built the bridge, and so great to see. The whole thing has worked out so well.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. A flare functions as a safety critical relief device for an LNG facility. Hydrocarbons in the flare system are ignited via a small continuous flame. The system is designed to provide safe, reliable, and efficient combustion of hydrocarbons, so hydrocarbons do not escape into the atmosphere. Let us return to the conversation as Mayor Germuth tells us more about LNG's flare system.
Of course, LNG Canada is now in the commissioning of the plant. Basically, almost all the construction is done, so now they're commissioning, which is why we see the flare. So the flare will be there for at least a year, and it started off pretty small, and it will get bigger and bigger as they go through. Of course, the LNG themselves, I mean, when you see the flare on, that's money going out the pipe, right? You're burning $1,000 bills. They would like to keep it as small as possible, and of course, to safely commission a gas plant, you have to have the flare. And it says they go through checking every single valve and every single pipe and every single thing, every single part of that facility that they need the flaring. So it's great to see the progress that's coming there. We're very happy for that. You know, hopefully next year in 2025, we'll be seeing the first shipment of LNG off the west coast of Canada, and I know that'll be a big celebration for us all. Camp-wise, worker-wise, they're still going to have the camp full. The 4,500 beds will all be used, and they'll be using some of the beds in the other camps still while they're going through commissioning and doing some insulating, etc. So it's the project has been going very well right from day one. Always have to give compliments to LNG Canada of all the pre-planning they did to ensure this project goes as smooth as possible, and they really have done it. When you got a community of 8,500 people, yet you have one facility, one construction project with over 7,000 workers working their way through there on turnarounds, and you really didn't have much of an impact in the community at all. In the morning you'll see the pickups and buses, same thing late in the afternoon. Other than that, it's, they did an amazing job of making sure that there was as little negative impacts on the community as possible. So we're very thankful for that. We're very happy. Cedar LNG, of course, gave their final investment decision just a while back. So we're really looking forward to that. Great project, to have the Haisla with their own LNG project. And of course, that's only possible because of LNG Canada. And the Haisla really business savvy, having a deal where they would actually have a percentage of the pipeline capacity, like brilliant. Very smart thing to do, and that, that's for decades and decades. It's going to give them, a real great economic benefits to the Haisla Nation, and of course there'll be training and jobs for them, so we're so proud to see that for them. That's a great idea. Also, of course, we're looking forward. Hasn't been a final investment decision yet for LNG Canada Phase 2, of course, which will be then, another 5 years of being very busy in town. So we're looking forward to those two. And of course, as Kitimat, being a marvel of nature and industry, we're always looking forward to other opportunities. When you go back to 1980 when Methanex was being built and we were around 13,000 people, every single storefront in the community had a business in it. Once, unfortunately, we lost Urican, we lost Methanex, and of course with the Rio Tinto modernization, there are basically half the workers that used to be there in the old smelter running full time, so our population base isn't there. So unfortunately, as being a small business owner myself, you have to realize that there's just not enough population here that would support a lot of businesses full time. So yeah, we'd love to see some of those. We're hoping for with Cedar LNG, hopefully second phase of LNG Canada, and any other opportunity. We'd love to get the population back up a bit to where it makes sense and it's realistic for entrepreneurs to go out and start a business. So yes, we have the McDonald's. There's the gas station right beside the McDonald's being built, but we're also super proud of Two Peaks Brewing, the brewery in town run by two local boys. A beautiful job they're doing. It's all good compliments on the way they're running their business, and people love it. So good on them, and we're hoping that they're very successful. I think around 50% of it was going to be a modular structure, and I believe around 50% of the hotel was already built down south. However, once COVID hit, the whole hospitality industry went in the tank, right? And so it didn't make sense for them to build a hotel when nobody was using hotels, right? So we had that understanding. We had it on paper that they had to build it, but of course we're not going to force somebody to do something that, clearly doesn't make business sense. So that was where we ended up, coming to a compromise. Okay, well, if you can't do that, and it made sense at the time to not force them to do that, that's where the McDonald's came in and the gas station now. And the same company is also looking at the other 2 lots. They're looking once, usually when you have one business, it can bring in another business. So they're still looking for further development options on that site. One problem we have in Kitimat is it's not the amount of houses that we have, it's the age. And so it's great to see some new houses being built because a lot of people moving here, professionals, be it for Rio Tinto, be it for LNG Canada, or any of the support industries, it's not the cost of the houses that scares people away, it's the age, and they really want something newer. Rather than pay X amount of dollars for something old, they'd rather pay a bit more and have something newer. So it's great to see the companies in town that are building the new houses, and from what I can see, most of them are being sold and moved into, so that's great to see. It's great to see some new housing stock. Of course, then you're left with some old stock that you have to see what you can do with, right? So that's part of our plan going forward, is to see how we can somehow take some of those older houses and make them a bit nicer, encouraging people through incentives to, potentially fix things up. The one great thing that happened, after Hurricane and both Methanex shut down is, the community was a bit depressed. It's never boom and bust here. You're always doing well because you've had the smelter here forever. But, the future of the economy was definitely uncertain, correct? And so, people had to move away, etc. But the great thing is, once Rio Tinto announced their modernization, and then, of course, LNG Canada announced their project, people could see, okay, the economy here is going to be fine for decades to come. And that gave people the confidence to fix up their houses because they knew they'd get their money back out of it, right? To put money into their investments because they knew they'd get the return at the end. So that's been great to see, that certainty that Rio Tinto has always given this community and continues to with the modernization. And of course, LNG Canada, more certainty. Cedar LNG, more certainty. And phase 2 of LNG Canada, when that gets the FID, hopefully it does, that'll be even more, plus other opportunities. Just gives people that confidence. Hey, I don't mind fixing up my house and putting a bunch of money into it because I know if I do happen to leave or have to sell it one day, that I'm going to get my return on investment. So big thankful to the industries and of course small businesses in town that continually want to build and keep things going. That gives people that confidence and helps the economy of Kitimat.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. CT scanners work by a series of X-ray images from different angles around the body, which are then processed by a computer to create a detailed cross-sectional images or slices. These slices provide a three-dimensional view of an area of interest, allowing healthcare professionals to examine it from various angles and depths. Let us return the conversation as Phil gives us an update of Kitimat's CT scanner.
Okay, it's not there yet, of course, but they're going through all through the planning and everything they have to do to switch the hospital over to fit a CT scanner in there. There's major HVAC issues you have to do because a CT scanner creates a lot of heat. It obviously has a high electrical demand, so they're going through all the engineering and all the procedures they have to do on that. We're super happy. LNG Canada, of course, over $900,000 donated for the scanner. The Max Lang Foundation put in $500,000. District of Kitimat, we just voted recently to put in $800,000 to help it out. So, and also the Kitimat General Hospital Foundation, amazing job of volunteers. So thankful and grateful to have them, as they've really been doing all the fundraising for this, and they've been pushing this forward for years now. So we're very, very happy for what they've all done. So there was a recent announcement from Northern Health Theatre that yes, we're going to go through with it. We're very happy for that, and that has a major impact on Kitimat. We also recently hired our healthcare attraction and recruitment coordinator, and so because we are putting our own program out there across Canada in several targeted places of wanting to attract doctors and nurses here. And of course, one of the things you need to be able to attract doctors and nurses to your community is you need some of the state-of-the-art equipment. So the CT scanner will be a huge benefit for us in being able to attract people here, professionals, and of course, there's forever, whatever reason, there's the conception out there that Kitimat an industrial town, it must be dirty. But once people actually come here and see what it's like, they realize how beautiful it is. And the recent Minerals North Conference was a great indicator of that. So many people that I talked to had never been to Kitimat before were absolutely amazed when they got here. Wow, I didn't expect it to be this clean of a community, this beautiful of surroundings, and again, it goes back to our marvel of nature and industry, which it really is. You have some great industry here and the good jobs and all the paying and benefits, but also right outside your door, you've got some of the most beautiful nature in all of Canada. Some of the best salmon fishing in the world, biking, if you're into motorbiking, snowmobiling, hiking, fishing, whatever you may be into in the outdoors, it's here. And of course, also the recent Oviatt Bike Park that Jack Oviatt and the family built for the people of Kitimat and others is a great attraction. People have come from all over to check out this facility. And of course, we've got the Mount Elizabeth Cycling Association, who have built some trails around Kitimat for mountain biking. So the two of those working together with the Oviatt, with the project they built, and the Mount Elizabeth Cycling Association is just excellent to attract more people here and tourists to come in and see what Kitimat has to offer. Not trying to say that we're any more special than anybody else, but when you do have, you've got the aluminum smelter here, your people working around molten aluminum at 750 degrees. You've got the LNG Canada project with 7,000 people rotating in and out. The potential for, a real disaster or incident is there, right? And thankfully they haven't had that. But not to mention the aging population of people just having heart attacks or needing emergency service, right? But we had many late last year and early this year, January, February, March, the ER closures it was unbearable. It was really, it was crazy. They've greatly reduced that. In June, we only had 2 diversions. In July, we had 2. In August, they were honest enough to call us up before and said, Phil, we definitely, it's trouble getting agency nurses in August because a lot of them were on vacation. So they said there might be a few more in August, but this September, we're back down again. So, Northern Health has done a good job in greatly alleviating them compared to what they were. We're hoping it stays that way. But again, also having the CT scanner, knowing that's coming, gives us the opportunity to attract more healthcare professionals. But yeah, it has been a huge worry of seeing that. You're seeing it every night on the news. The other issue it has with our community is, of course, when the diversions, now we have our ambulances going back and forth to everywhere else. That's another thing that the CT scanner will alleviate, is the amount of transfers we have to do because we don't have one here. So a person gets looked at here, you need a CT scan? Okay, now they have to go to Terrace by ambulance. So having our own CT scanner here will greatly alleviate that too, and then we'll be able to have more of our firefighter paramedics here in Kitimat, to be able to look out for the needs of Kitimat, which of course our ambulance calls have gone up, in a large amount over these past years with the aging population. So we're looking forward to all of these things coming together with our healthcare attraction coordinator, with the CT scanner. We're looking forward to the future of healthcare in Kitimat, that things can only get better.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
The history of the Commodie bear, also known as the spirit bear, includes, in 1905, Francis Commodie, a Canadian scientist, introduced the Commodie bear to the scientific community. The bear was named after him. Indigenous people in Canada kept the existence of the Commodie bear secret for generations to protect them from fur trappers. In this final segment of Open Connection, we open our archives to bring you this story from 2003.
The Commodie bear is unique to our area. It's, they say it's a fluke of nature that we have this white bear that's a member of the black bear family. The Japanese have a term for it, and they call it the dream bear. So internationally, even the Japanese realize that this bear has some significance, and we think it has a great significance for the area. Again, it's a rarity, it's a cute bear, and make a great representation for the Pacific Northwest.
The idea is a response to a challenge issued by Premier Gordon Campbell when he visited Smithers and Terrace earlier this year. He told those gathered to come up with ways the Northwest could benefit if the International Olympic Committee chooses Vancouver to host the 2010 Winter Games.
You know this place, and you might take this for granted, but there's a lot of people that don't know about the drive from Terrace to Prince Rupert or vice versa. Think of having a daily ferry that comes from Port Hardy to Prince Rupert, that lets people off and allows them to drive along Highway 16, and all that Highway 16 offers in the summer in the winter, in the fall, and in the spring.
Committees have been formed in several communities to try to answer that challenge and to make sure if the Olympic bandwagon gets rolling, they're securely on board.
We identified very early, we remember what Expo 86 did for the Bulkley Valley and our tourism. And we feel confident that the Winter Olympics in 2010 will also bring that boom to our community.
In the Terrace-Kitimat area, boosters focused early on Terrace's own civic symbol as a great contender for the Olympic mascot.
That's going to be a big #1 project with us. I think the Kermode bear is well represented in Terrace right now, and I can just see it going around the world, and it's going to be our job to help promote the Kermode bear and the area.
That was back in March, but just a few weeks ago, we caught up to John Taylor again as he joined an official presentation from Skeena's MLA of Olympic banners to representatives of both Terrace and Kitimat.
Let's get the thing rolling, because I'll tell you, come 2010, when the Olympics are in British Columbia, it's going to be an exciting time for all of us. So on behalf of the province and the Olympic Committee, Mayor, I'd like to make this presentation to you of this flag that you can fly high in our community.
Thank you very much. I want you to know I'm sharpening my skates already.
And Bob, again on behalf of the committee, I'd like to present you with this flag for the city of Kitimat.
Yeah, we'll display it proudly. You don't have a chance, Jack.
Taylor talked about the significance to our area of having the Kermode as the official Olympic mascot.
What'll happen if we get the Kermode bear as one of the mascots or the official mascot, we just hope it's going to be part of the games. Everybody's going to be talking about what kind of bear is this, and of course it's the Kermode bear. And where is the Kermode bear? Well, none other than Terrace in the Pacific Northwest, so the exposure through that worldwide would be just fabulous for tourism in our area.
The Kermode has prowled the Northwest from time immemorial and has had a number of names and a number of legends attached to it.
The true name of the bear is Moxgamal, which the Simpson people call it the Moxgamal, and it means white bear. And the reason it became the Kermode bear was Francis Kermode was the first person to identify the white skins that came from the north, from the Nass Valley. And upon investigating it, they found out that it was a white bear with a double recessive gene. And because Francis Kermode was a curator, and they gave him the name of the bear.
Tessier, who authored a book on the spirit bear, says fascination with the animal never wanes. And while it isn't seen as often as it once was, it's still out there.
There are sightings every year, and it seems to go that the people I've talked to, they are the people that are from out of town that happen to see them. So I mean, the occasion of seeing them isn't that uncommon. It's just same old story. You know, the people that are looking for them don't see them, but they're pretty common. Not that common, but common enough that one shouldn't be surprised to see a white bear around the Terrace area.
Well, certainly the Vancouver Olympic organizers are going to be inundated with ideas for an official mascot. And assuming the International Olympic Committee doesn't make it a moot point by turning down Vancouver's bid, it's clear the Kermode is going to get a lot of votes from our area.
Certainly it's a worthy candidate, no doubt. You know, look, as you can see behind me here, this is a prime example of an excellent specimen of a Kermode bear, about 5 or 6 years old, and you know, how can you not be attracted to the sight of something that magnificent?
Well, it's rare, it's unusual, it's different.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.